Hey Duke basketball fans, welcome to episode 4 of the Duke Basketball PhD course, the Duke versus North Carolina rivalry special episode. I'm Pete Winkler, Duke basketball superfan and self-proclaimed professor of Duke basketball. Today is March 8th, 2024, the day before the 262nd installment of the Duke versus North Carolina basketball rivalry. The Duke versus Carolina basketball rivalry is the greatest rivalry in college basketball, if not all of sports. The first Duke versus North Carolina game was played on January 24th, 1920, 104 long years ago. North Carolina won that game 36-20 over Duke. And since then, Duke fans around the world have hated those Tar Heels forevermore. Out of the 261 games played over those 104 years up till now, North Carolina has won 144 and Duke 117. The record was fairly lopsided in favor of UNC until Duke's Coach K came on the scene in 1980. In the 100 games played during the Coach K era, North Carolina won 50 and Duke won 50, split evenly. Just indicative of the amazing tightness and competitiveness of the greatest rivalry in college basketball. Now, a few reasons why this is such a heated rivalry. The Duke University campus based in Durham and the University of North Carolina campus based in Chapel Hill are separated by a mere 8 miles in North Carolina's Research Triangle Park area. Both programs have been tremendously successful on the basketball court over the years, with North Carolina winning 6 NCAA titles in its history, good for 3rd place among all universities, and Duke winning 5 NCAA titles, tied for 4th place among all universities. North Carolina is 3rd place overall in wins in college basketball history. Duke is in 4th place. North Carolina has gone to 21 Final Fours in their history. Duke has gone to 17, including 13 during the Coach K era. In the Atlantic Coast Conference, North Carolina has won 32 regular season titles, while Duke has won 21 ACC tournament titles. Both of those are tops in the conference. But the rivalry goes much deeper than on the basketball court. Duke is a top-ranked elite private university, with the majority of students coming to Duke from outside of the state of North Carolina. UNC is a state institution representing a broader socioeconomic cross-section, including more students from within the state of North Carolina. So I graduated from Duke in 1991, and over my 4 years there, I saw up close the differences and the similarities between Duke and UNC students. Both schools have featured extremely successful and iconic basketball coaches. For Duke, Mike Krzyzewski, Coach K, of course, who is a legend. At North Carolina, first Dean Smith and then Roy Williams, also both legends and Hall of Famers. All of these coaches have left an indelible mark on the rivalry, their colleges, and in fact the history of college basketball. The Duke versus North Carolina rivalry has consistently featured games that have been high profile, high stakes, and have resulted in nail-biter, thrilling finishes. Special seasons for me have been when Duke has beaten North Carolina all times they played in a season, 2 or even 3 times, including for high stakes and on Duke's way to a Final Four or an NCAA tournament title. A good example of this was in 1988, when Duke swept North Carolina in all 3 games they played against them that season. That included their 3rd and last meeting of the season in the ACC tournament final, when Duke took down North Carolina 65-61, paving the way for Duke's run to the Final Four that season. Or in 1992, when a great Duke team, perhaps the best ever in Duke history, led by Christian Laettner, Bobby Hurley, and Grant Hill, took down North Carolina 2 out of the 3 games they played that season. That included a great 20-point victory over UNC in the ACC tournament finals, on Duke's way to the NCAA championship, their 2nd title in a row. In 2001, another great Duke team led by Shane Battier and Jay Williams took down Carolina 79-53 in a blowout in the ACC Tournament Championship. Again, that led to Duke having a long run in the NCAA tournament all the way to Coach K and Duke's third national championship. In 2010, Duke beat Carolina twice, again sweeping their season series, including an 82-50 blowout at Cameron on Duke's senior night in the final regular season game. Again, Duke went on to win the national championship in 2010, led by John Shire, who's currently Duke's head coach. In 2015, Duke beat UNC 92-90 in overtime in an instant classic of a game in their first meeting. And then Duke beat Carolina again more comfortably, 84-77 in their second regular season meeting. Again, Duke went on to a long run in the NCAA tournament to the Final Four and won the national championship in 2015. Again, Duke rode the momentum of those wins all the way to the NCAA tournament championship game, where they beat Wisconsin 68-63, good for Duke and Coach K's fifth national title. If you're enjoying this video, please press the like button, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment so I know what you'd like me to talk about in future episodes. Not a lot of people remember this, but Duke and North Carolina had been in the Final Four in the same season back in 1991. North Carolina lost in the semifinals to Kansas in a game where Dean Smith, in a rare occurrence, was given a technical foul and ejected toward the end of the game. Duke beat UNLV in the other semifinal game in an amazing upset after Duke had lost by 30 to UNLV in the finals of the last season's tournament. It was a surprising upset victory, and Coach K has said perhaps the greatest win of his overall career at Duke. That win over UNLV, followed by the NCAA tournament championship win over Kansas, was Coach K and Duke's first national championship in Duke's fifth Final Four under Coach K, and it lifted the proverbial monkey off Coach K's back. On April 2nd, 2022, Duke and North Carolina did face off for the first time ever in an NCAA Final Four game. It was a close and hard-fought game with the lead seesawing back and forth during the course of the game. North Carolina ended up prevailing in a close one, 81-77, robbing Coach K the opportunity to go to his 10th finals game and perhaps win his 6th national championship at Duke. That also turned out to be Coach K's final game at Duke. In his overall career, he finished with 1,202 wins, including 1,129 in his 42-year career at Duke. Since Duke coach John Shire took over the reins a couple of years ago, he's had 2 wins versus North Carolina and 1 loss. John's Duke team swept North Carolina in the 2023 season, winning by 62-57 on the road and by 63-57 at home in Cameron. In the first game this season, North Carolina triumphed by 9 points. However, Duke has the opportunity to exact revenge in tomorrow's game at Cameron on senior night for Duke. North Carolina's trip to Durham and Cameron Indoor Stadium will decide the ACC regular season title. North Carolina currently stands in first place with 16 wins and 3 losses on the season. Duke at close behind at 15 wins and 4 losses. If Duke takes the game, they move up into a first place tie and a split of the conference regular season championship. If North Carolina wins, they win the championship free and clear. In their first meeting in Chapel Hill last month, North Carolina was able to control and quicken the tempo and benefited from strong outside shooting by Harrison Ingram as well as inside play from Armando Bacot. They took that game 93-84. Duke will be looking for revenge and to take one back from Carolina on senior night in Cameron. Keys for Duke beating UNC in tomorrow's game. Number 1, control tempo and keep the game at a controlled pace with the score finishing no higher than in the 70s. In Duke's 2 wins over UNC last season, they did this, kept the score low, and prevailed in fairly tight games. Number 2, play lockdown perimeter defense. In the first game, North Carolina had too many open looks and ended up shooting 38% from three-point range for the game, good enough to give them the advantage. In Duke's latest game against North Carolina State last Monday, they played lockdown perimeter defense and controlled NC State's outside shooting, giving them the edge. They should follow the same blueprint against North Carolina tomorrow. Number 3, play inside out. Duke should look to feed their big men down in the blocks. Kyle Filipowski, Mark Mitchell, and then when they're in the game, Ryan Young and Sean Stewart. Those big men should get the ball and either make a move on the inside or look to pass. Duke needs to look for the feed into the post and then a pass to the perimeter for an open three-point look. Number 4, crash the offensive boards. Flip, Mitch, Young, and Stewart need to be going to the O boards hard, putting pressure on Baycott and Ingram, and controlling and dictating inside the paint. No doubt it'll be a barn burner of a game. I expect Duke to come out and play with high energy and skill and to receive tons of support from the Cameron Crazies. It'll be a hard-fought game, but Duke will pull away to win in the end. Okay, that's a wrap on this special Duke versus North Carolina rivalry episode of the Duke Basketball PhD course. Please press the like button if you like this video. I'll be continuing with future episodes of the Duke Basketball PhD course, where I'll be covering today's Duke team and players and putting them into the rich historical context of Duke basketball past. Thanks for watching, and good luck with tomorrow's game, Dukies. Go Duke! Duke stuff.